It is with great humility and joy that I come to ask a few questions of you and consider myself extremely fortunate. You know, I was handed a number of questions that have come in from all over the world, and frankly, if I have to get the answers to all this, we will all be here till breakfast. So I will have to cut through those, shorten these questions a bit. But I wanted to ask Dada some questions regarding the power of prayer. The power of prayer, of praying. Because you know, when I come here, I see there are references to Ram and Krishna and Shiv and Guru Nanak Dev and God knows how many other great figures. So when one prays, Dada, who does one pray to?
Within each one of us, there is a source of unlimited power.
Within each one of us there is a source of unlimited power.
That remains closed. Prayer only takes the lid
Of that,
yes. It is to our own selves that we pray. We carry that power within ourselves.
That's extremely profound.
We have only to unfold it. We have only to open it.
So we are praying in a sense to our own higher self.
Yes.
We are praying to our own higher self. Now, when we talk about God, how do you define God? How do you define God? How do you see God? How do you...
God defined is God denied.
God defined is God denied.
Is God denied. Because words, they have limitations.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Words cannot express what God is. God, therefore, is to be realized.
Right.
We have to make Him real to us in daily life. Yes.
God is the creator. Is God the creator of all we have, all that surrounds us?
Yes.
He's the creator.
Yes.
So how can we come to terms, Dada, with all the misery in the world, all the suffering in the world? Why does a compassionate God allow such suffering in the world?
When God created you, when He created me, when He created the rest of humanity, He gave us the same amount of freedom which He kept for Himself.
Right.
I have the freedom to move on the right path or on the left path. That was the subject that we dealt with a little while ago, prayer and Shreya. The difficulty is that we choose ourselves to move on the path of prayer, and thereby we create difficulties.
But let me clarify this, Dada, because when you say prayer, you're talking about prayer, the prayer that we do, or prayer in another sense? In prayer and Shreya.
They are different things.
Different thing. I just want to clarify that. Because
Prayer is the path, of pleasure.
The path of pleasure.
Pleasure.
So it's called prayer,
Yes.
as opposed to prayer in English.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Prayer is प्यारा, जो प्यारा लगता है.
जी.
हमको कुर्सी luxurious चाहिए, प्यारा लगता है.
जी.
That is prayer.
But Dada, what is wrong with the luxurious chair?
Nothing is wrong, but we want it.
Right.
Our want is wrong.
Right.
The chair is not wrong.
Yes. No, what you're saying is extremely profound because even as the Buddha said, so much suffering comes from our wanting. Our wanting, and wanting becomes the root to so much suffering.
Yeah.
If one has to deal with negative energies around us, how does one best deal with that? Whether in the workplace, whether in the personal space, there are people with negative energies around you. Do you give them love and compassion, or do you just walk away?
Firstly, don't let a negative quality enter your mind. Be very careful. We have to be like the guards who stand outside at the gates.
Right.
They will not let thieves come in. It is not that they will let the thieves come in and then try to drive them out. They will not let them come in. That is point number one that we must do. The second point is that as soon as a negative thought comes to me, I should immediately replace it by a positive thought.
Replace it with a positive
Yes.
thought.
I should tell that negative thought, there is no place for you in my mind. My house is full. I
Right.
cannot permit you to come.
We in the film
And-
industry like housefuls.
And the other thing that I can do, and which at least worked in my case, I remember when I was a college student, sometimes taking down notes. Out of nowhere, seemingly, out of nowhere, an evil thought would enter the mind. Then right then I would slap myself.
Wow.
And my co-students, they used to ask me, what was it? I used to tell them it was a mosquito. There is no mosquito worse than an evil thought.
Right. There's no mosquito worse than an evil thought.
Yeah.
Amazing. Dada, I want to make a confession. I have been married 4 times. I'm not saying I made 3 wrong choices before, because each of them had their own place. But obviously, it was not the right choice in terms of a relationship of a lifetime. So, where did I go wrong?
Your wrong is taking 3 wives to be a wrong thing.
I didn't say they were wrong.
It is not
I
wrong.
didn't say they were wrong.
All those 3 wives, they had to teach you something.
Right, right.
You should take this experience in that way and convert it from wrong into right.
Right.
There are so many things that people consider to be wrong, but they are not wrong.
Right. But obviously, as I said, I learned a lot from them.
Yes,
We grew up together in many ways. We
Yes.
shared many things,
Yes.
children as well.
yes.
So,
But there is one thing that I must remember. Every little thing that I do must have the strength of love in it. I should do it with love. I should not let hate enter my mind
right,
because my wife has not behaved in the right way. I must hate her. No.
right.
Let love rule your life. Then do what you will.
Obviously, every parent or most parents love their children. Now, when you want to discipline your children, and you can't do it through love alone, what must one do?
I think that the very thought that a particular entity is my child is wrong. So I begin with a wrong idea. It is sure to lead me along a wrong way.
Right.
Our children are not our children. They have been given to us by a beneficent providence for their and our training. This should be the attitude of every parent, which it is not.
Very profound, Dada, very profound. But at the same time, even if they are children given to us by the universe to take care of, to learn from, if they are doing something wrong that we can clearly see is wrong, hurting an animal or keeping on doing something bad, is there a way of disciplining them?
I was sitting one day with a holy man when one of his disciples, this is a true story, one of his disciples came running and he said to the holy man, "Your husband has committed a wrong, the police have caught him. I have influence over the police. If you permit me, I will have him released. Otherwise, the whole family will be brought to shame." You know what the holy man said? Whose family? Whose family? If the boy has done wrong, let the police deal with him.
Right.
And actually, he was sent to jail, the boy, for 6 months. He came out of it a transformed being.
So it was good for him.
Yes,
And so if a parent has to discipline a child,
so
bearing love in the
what
heart,
you think you are loving, what you think you are doing in love, you are spoiling the child.
Right, right.
It is our way of looking at things which is wrong.
You know, today when I first met Dada Vaswani in the afternoon, I asked him, I said, "Dadaji, have you ever been married?" And he said, no. And then he narrated to me, you know, how, the story of how his mother was very keen that he gets married and took him to an astrologer. And the astrologer said, "You come at a fantastic time. This Rashi is such that he's going to get married this year." Dada Vaswani said, "It's not going to happen." And that man said, "If it doesn't happen, I will shave off my moustache and my beard." What did you say, Dada? Dada said, "No need to do that, it's not going to happen." So he saved his whiskers, even though Dada didn't get married. The question is, if somebody wants to follow
Yeah,
a spiritual path
yeah.
deeply, is it necessary for him
No,
not to get married?
no. Nothing is that. All the great ones have married. Guru Nanak married. Krishna married. I don't know if he knew all his wives.
That's true.
It is only Sri Rama who said that a person must not have more than one wife. But Muhammad had 13 wives. He married
Right.
13. Yes.
And you were not inspired by any of them? I said, you were not inspired by any of them?
Perhaps I'm still searching.
When young people come to you And I know you have a great interest in young people because of all your educational institutions, the incredible work you have done across India, across the world actually, and how you believe in the future generations.
Young people come to a young man.
Young, so, if young people come to you and say, Dada, give us some advice, say something to us, what would you be inclined to say? Is there any standard advice you give them? Do you look at them personally and think, okay, for this child, this advice is needed? How do you approach that?
I would give them the very advice which I give to myself.
Which is?
Turn back to God.
Turn back to God.
We have thrown God out of our homes, out of our educational institutions. These two are the centers of character making. Therefore we have lost our character. There was a time, I remember, when I was in the school, the walls of our house, they carried pictures of these great ones, Christ, Buddha, Mahavir.
Yes. Right.
Now if you go to their homes, you find that, that there are pictures of athletes or of actresses.
But Dada, why is this so? Why is this happening?
Because of the time spirit.
Because of the
Time spirit.
times.
Times change. This will also change. We will again have Christ on the wall. We will again have Krishna looking at us. It's because of that time. Yeah.
So how do you see the future, Dada? The future of India, the future of humanity. How do you see it? Are you optimistic? Are you...
Oh, future is wonderful. Wonderful. This is a transition period. Yeah.
Yes. No, because there's always people who talk of doom and gloom and say the end of the world is coming and the great times have gone, we're coming into Kali Yuga and this is going to destroy us all.
No. People who talk of the end of the world, they keep on postponing.
Yes.
They keep on postponing the date. It is like the doctor who told his patient that you have only 2 more weeks to live. And then gave him a bill. The bill was for 6,000 rupees. And he told the doctor, how can I give you 6,000 in 2 weeks? I am too poor to do it. All right, then I give you two still more weeks. I give you a whole... So it is more like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you something about rebirth, if I may. Can we choose where we will be reborn?
Our actions choose. Our actions, they choose for us. But that is ourselves.
But it's not a when you say actions, it's not a conscious decision one makes that I will be, or some kind of focus you can put to say, I wish to be reborn in this country or this place or this family. Is there anything we can do to influence where we are reborn?
The law of karma decides for us. taking into account the life that we have lived, the decision is made. I cannot live like a murderer and be reborn as a saint. The law of karma looks into the diary and decides what I am to be in my next birth. But I can keep on praying in this life that I should be reborn here and live in such a way as though I am already living there.
Right.
That will help.
Almost visualize it. Almost.
That will help.
That will help.
That will help.
In Hinduism, we have this incredible situation where they say 33 crore devta hain, Devi devta. All of them have got different attributes. One is Indra, one is Varuna, one is Shiva, one is Vishnu. Are these figures that we hear of, the major gods that we know about, are they symbols or are they real energies?
It is that they have a big wardrobe.
A big wardrobe.
God is one, but He puts on different dresses
Right.
at different times. But He is one.
I just want to ask you a bit about your own personal journey. What are the points in your life that you considered turning points?
I have not yet there.
You've not reached that yet?
I ask you to bless me that I may tell.
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, and I've been touched and moved and inspired as have so many of our friends here. I thank you for this incredible
I
opportunity.
should thank you
No,
for
sir.
the wonderful questions that you put there, taught me so much.
No, sir.
Yes,
I
yes.
can ask you questions for another 10 hours, but
Yeah,
the
you are
fact is, because there's so many things to learn and know from you.
Your questions are my teachers. Yes,
You honor me, you honor us all.
yes,
It's your greatness that says so.
yes.
Thank you very much, Dada. I will take leave, and let me just say that in my quest of meeting various religious heads, reading about various movements, I have, in my own sense, almost developed a nose where I feel this person is not the real thing, or where this person is a person of true and profound learning. Let me say with Dada, there's no question. I'm extremely evolved being, evolved soul. He was spreading such joy and love to everyone that all I can do is salute him and touch his feet.